This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. Authorities have arrested a dismissed police officer in Quezon City for injuring a detainee 15 years ago. The Philippine National Police Integrity Monitoring and Enforcement Group said in a statement Thursday that former Police Lieutenant Mario Pascual was arrested on the 24th of October along Diamono Street, Barangay Tatalan. His arrest was made possible through an arrest warrant dated the 25th of September, 2020. Quezon City Metropolitan Trial Court Branch 138 Presiding Judge Christine Grace Suarez issued the warrant of arrest and set the bail at 2,000 pesos. According to PNP-IMEG Director Brigadier General Warren de Leon, Pascual was accused of inflicting injuries to a detainee under police custody for an undisclosed offense 15 years ago. The PNP-IMEG also said that Pascual was dismissed from service only last year. Pascual was detained at the PNP-IMEG headquarters custodial facility in Camp Cram, Quezon City, pending his presentation before the court that issued the warrant for his arrest. An active member of the Philippine National Police involved in a shooting of the brother of his live-in partner in Pasay City surrendered to authorities on Thursday, according to the National Capital Region Police Office. In a report, the NCRPO said Staff Sergeant Raul Lacusta, an active member of PNP who currently serves at the Regional Personnel Holding Admin Section and undergoing mandatory public safety junior leadership course, turned himself in around 10 am to its office. According to police, the shooting occurred around 1 am on the same day along Don Carlos Village, Barangay 190, Zone 20, after Locusta and his live-in partner or complainant, Given Teves, got into a heated argument. The suspect's live-in partner dodged the bullet, but her brother Ramon Teves got shot in the chest instead. After Locusta surrendered, authorities brought him to Pasay City Police Station for investigation, where he underwent paraffin and ballistic examination. Police said Locusta will face complaints of murder and attempted murder and violation of the Republic Act 9262, Violence Against Women and Children, and RA 10591 concerning RA 76166, Omnibus Election Code. Multiple murder and double frustrated murder complaints have been filed against a police officer, a candidate for village chief, and 10 others for Monday night's killing of 3 people posting campaign materials for the 30th of October elections. Cotabato City Police Station 1 Chief Captain G. Muramlit said people named on the complaint sheet were Juhaladin Ladesla Abdul, alias Boyong, candidate for chairperson of Barangay Rosary Heights 12, Police Master Sergeant Porty Dianal Mamalapad of Maguindanao del Sur Police, and their 10 relatives, many from Ginjalungan, Maguindanao del Sur, for involvement in the attack that killed Nomuktadin Butukan, Alpha Rayunan Pasoilan, and Faisal Abbas. The complaints against them were filed before the city prosecutor's office here on Wednesday, the 25th of October. Butukan and Pasoilan were candidates for village council seats, the former in Rosary Heights 12 while the latter in Kalanganan 2. Abbas was a supporter of Pasoilan. Sapal Sapalin and Fayed Dord, both from Kalanganan 2, were injured during the incident. All victims were displaying campaign posters when they were shot at around 9:30 p.m. on Monday. In a hot pursuit operation, the police, backed by Marine soldiers, held for questioning Abdul, Mamalapat, and 10 others, and were later established to be suspects in the crime after authorities seized an M16 rifle, 2 handguns, and ammunition from them. A clerk at the Department of Public Works and Highways pleaded guilty to lesser offenses, instead of graft and estafa through falsification of public documents, and was sentenced to 1 year imprisonment in 20 cases and 3 months and 11 days jail term in 20 other cases involving ghost repairs of vehicles in 2001. The Sandigan Bayan also disqualified Clerk Edgar V. Agbunag from holding public office for life and ordered to pay DPWH 494,500 pesos. Agbunag was one of the DPWH officials and personnel charged in the ghost repairs of vehicles. He and the other accused were charged with falsifying 20 job order requests and disbursement vouchers. The prosecution said the accused made it appear that the DPWH vehicles underwent repairs and replacement of spare parts although no such jobs were done. Last the 14th of April, Agbunag pleaded not guilty when arraigned on his graft and estafa through falsification of public documents. He then manifested during the pre-trial that he would enter into a plea bargaining agreement, which is a process of pleading guilty to a lesser offense for a lesser penalty. During the 27th of September hearing, the Office of the Special Prosecutor confirmed the approval by the Office of the Ombudsman of the plea bargaining proposal of Agbunag. Instead of graft, he pleaded guilty to a lesser offense of violation of the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, and simple estafa instead of estafa through falsification of public documents. The motion of accused Agbunag to withdraw his earlier plea of not guilty in all charges filed against him, to be able to plead guilty to a lesser offense, is thus granted, the Sandigan Bayan said. The mitigating circumstance of the plea of guilty will be appreciated in favor of the accused as the change of plea was made prior to the presentation of evidence by the prosecution, it said. A police officer was relieved after he was involved in a traffic altercation with a truck driver and his helper that went viral on social media on Thursday afternoon, the 26th of October, on the Maharlika Highway in Barangay Rizal. This town. The police officer was identified as Police Chief Master Sergeant Rianan Luminario, assigned to the Gumaka Municipal Police Station. Luminario, who was recently awarded the Medalla Ng Papuri by the Quezon Police Provincial Office for the successful conduct of a manhunt operation that resulted in the arrest of 2 suspects in a robbery incident here, was not wearing a police uniform when the incident happened. The truck driver and his helper were unidentified. Investigation said Luminario temporarily parked his Toyota Grandia van in a no parking zone in front of a convenience store to purchase something. Luminario's vehicle impeded traffic, prompting the truck driver to blow his vehicle's horn several times. The police officer noticed the situation and returned to his van, resulting in a heated altercation among the truck driver, helper, and Luminario. The incident was recorded in a video and circulated on social media. In the video, the helper was holding a metal rod while bystanders, non-uniformed personnel phoebe Torculus, and a traffic enforcer pacified them. Luminario slapped the back of the head of the helper and the driver, and the helper left the area. The relief order against Luminario was effective the 26th of October and he was reassigned to the Regional Holding and Accounting Section of the Police Regional Office 4A in Camp Vicente Lim, Canlabang, Calamba City, Laguna. Luminario is undergoing investigation by the Quezon Police Provincial Office. A barangay kagawad running for chairman in the upcoming elections was injured after being shot by unidentified assailants in General Luna, Quezon on Thursday night, the 26th of October. A report reaching Camp Crane identified the victim as Ruben Ilagan, 63, a Kagawadan resident of Barangay Malaya, where he is also a candidate for barangay chairman. Police investigation showed that Ilagan had just finished attending a meeting near the barangay hall around 9:20 p.m. when the 2 suspects approached and shot him point blank. The suspects then fled on foot after the incident. Ilagan sustained 4 gunshot wounds on the right chest, police said. He was rushed to Magsaysay Hospital in Lopez, Quezon and transferred to Rack Profit Medical Center, incorporated in Gumaka Town for further medical treatment. An investigation was launched by the police to identify the suspects behind the incident and determine if it was related to the nearing the 30th of October polls. A barangay captain and ex officio member of the municipal council and his daughter were shot and wounded in Barangay Butol here on Saturday afternoon, the 28th of October. Police identified the victims as Ruben Elefante, 50, chairman of Barangay Gabao and president of the Municipal Association of Barangay Chairpersons and running for kagawad or councillor in the barangay elections on Monday, the 30th of October, and his daughter, Rubimi, 21, student. Investigation said the elephants were on board a tricycle when a man flagged and shot them. Ruben sustained a bullet wound in the face and Rubimi in the wrist. They were taken to a hospital in Quezon City, this province. Police are looking at politics as reason for the shooting as Ruben's wife is running for chairman in the elections. A police officer surrendered to authorities a few hours after his car collided with a motorcycle being driven by a medical student on the Cebu South Coastal Road in Talisay City, Cebu on Sunday, the 29th of October. Erno Kevin Lisondra, a 33-year-old member of the aviation security group assigned on Panglao Island, Bohol, voluntarily appeared before the Talisay traffic office a few hours after hitting Samuel Villanueva, a native of Taguig City and a medical student here in Cebu. According to Jonathan Tumilak, chief of the City of Talisay Traffic Operations and Development Authority, the policeman admitted he decided to leave the victim for fear of being accosted by the public. Lisandra claimed that he fled because he was afraid of the bystanders. So, before reporting to his unit, he left the scene and surrendered himself officially, Tumilak said. Lisandra's vehicle collided with the motorcycle driven by Villanueva at around 3:45 on Sunday. Lisandra said Villanueva was driving a motorcycle at a high speed, but Tumilak said the police officer was also at fault. Based on our CCTV footage, he committed an infraction. He was in the outer lane. He just suddenly crossed when he reached the intersection. If you're making a U-turn, you should be in the inner lane, and he was in the outer lane, Tumilak explained. Villanueva was reportedly in critical condition in a hospital, according to Tumilak. The city council suspended for 3 months 2 members of the village council of Barangay Old Cabalan after they reportedly falsified public and official documents. A 5-page resolution of the city council obtained by the Inquirer on the 21st of October said it suspended village councillors Rolando Alba and Gerardo Andrade for falsifying the minutes of the session for the deliberation of the village's 2022 annual budget. The complaint was filed by Cabalan Barangay Captain Lester Nadang, who accused Alba and Andrade of the offense. Nadang said the alleged falsification of the minutes of meeting took place when he was suspended from November to the 20th of December 21 and when Alba took over as the acting village chief. Nadang said he found out about the falsified documents when he returned to his post and after discovering that there was no session held for the deliberation of the 2022 annual budget. He said Alba and Andrade conspired to falsify the minutes of the meeting and convinced Nadang's secretary to ask some of the other village councillors to sign the document. This forced Nadang to file a complaint with the city council, which found Alba and Andrade guilty of the offense, suspending them for 3 months. According to the city council, the minutes of the session were totally falsified after the accused affixed their signatures and some of their fellow councillors. The council noted that the document was signed despite the fact that they did not hold a session on the said date. Alba is running for barangay captain, while Andrade is seeking re-election despite the 3-month suspension. Both were not immediately available for comment. A candidate for village chair in Lanao del Sur was shot dead by his rival brother following an altercation inside the voting precinct in Butig, Lanao del Sur, on Monday morning. Lanao del Sur Police Provincial Director, Colonel Robert Daculan, identified the victim as Madid Bayo, a candidate for village chairman of Barangay Pocton. Madid, who was running for the village's top post against his brother, Jamil, is the husband of the incumbent and last-term village chairperson Canepa Bayo. Madid died while being transported to the Amay Pakpak Medical Center in Miroi City following the 7am shooting. Initial investigation showed that Jamil was inside the voting precinct in Barangay Pocton when Madid arrived and confronted the latter about his presence in the area. A heated argument ensued, with Jamil complaining that his brother had a .45 caliber pistol. Police said Madid hit Jamil in the head using his pistol, causing a scuffle that ended with Madid being shot in the chest. Relatives and supporters rushed Madid to the hospital while Jamil tried to flee but was immediately cornered by authorities, police said. Meanwhile, in nearby Bayabayo Central School, also in Butig, Lanao del Sur, 2 voters were shot dead by still unidentified gunmen before 7am. Police are still investigating the incident. A barangay chairman and 5 others were wounded in a shooting incident during the barangay elections in Barangay Lahi Lahi, Tuburan, Basilan on Monday, the 30th of October. The village official was identified as Ibrahim Atang of Barangay Lahi Lahi. The other victims were reportedly relatives of Atang. Basilan Police Chief Police Colonel Carlos Madronio said the incident occurred outside a polling precinct before the start of voting where the suspects, one of them an active member of the Philippine Coast Guard, ran amok. Voters in nearby Barangay Sinulatan, Tuburan panicked after gunshots were heard during voting at the Sinulatan Elementary School. The commotion was said to have been started by supporters of rival candidates. Soldiers from the 101st Brigade and personnel from the Tuburan Municipal Police Station responded to the incident to pacify them. Both incidents are under investigation. 2 voters were killed while 3 others were wounded in a Maguindanao del Norte shooting on Monday morning, police said. Brigadier General Alan Nablazer, regional director of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao's police office, said the shooting occurred in Datu Sinsat town's Barangay Bugals at around 6 am. The lone shooting at 6 o'clock in the morning in Barangay Bugals, Datu Sinsat, Maguindanao del Norte left 2 dead and 3 wounded, Nablazer said over radio DWPM. Asked if the incident is related to the ongoing Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan election or BSKE, Nablazer said, "Yes, sir, because these victims were going to vote when the shooting happened." Nablazer said the police identified the suspects, and a pursuit operation is underway. A group of disruptors destroyed election ballots in voting precincts in Puerto Princesa, Palawan during the village and youth elections on Monday. Commission on Elections Chairman George Erwin Garcia confirmed the incident occurred in 2 precincts in Puerto Princesa Pilot Elementary School. A number of people entered the precincts and then ripped the election ballots, according to Garcia. The Comelec chair said the persons who performed these actions were arrested and are now detained. 19 people were confirmed to have been killed in the last 3 days or since the 28th of August, amid the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Commission on Elections gave the figure on Tuesday based on data from the Philippine National Police. The period also covers today, the 31st of October, says the poll body. The majority, or 11, of the killings were recorded in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, where a total of 13 election-related incidents took place. 30 persons fell victim to crimes in BAM. 14 of them were injured, while 5 were not physically unharmed, but they suffered other types of trauma. Suspects in the 12 of 13 offenses were arrested. Meanwhile, police in Bicol and Central Visayas listed 2 deaths in each region. Ilocos, Calabarzon, Zamboanga Peninsula and Cordillera Administrative Region documented 1 fatality each. Comelec Chair George Garcia also said PNP logged a sum of 244 incidents of violence. 29 of the reports are related to the elections. 111 are suspected to be connected to the polls. Meanwhile, 104 of the cases have nothing to do with BSKE. A re-elected barangay captain, his wife, and poll watchers survived a gun attack by a losing candidate in the barangay elections in Lambunao, Iloilo on Monday, the 30th of October. Police Major Jojan Sugay, Lambunao Police Chief, said the incident occurred around 11:50 p.m. Sugay, in a phone interview on Tuesday, the 31st of October, said the attack against Barangay Captain Renato Losado Libuno of Barangay Pahobay Dioscoro Ute Lozada Jr. happened after Libuano was proclaimed winner in the elections. A second-termer, Libuno was on board his Isuzu Crosswind with his wife and dropping off his poll watchers to their homes when Lozada appeared and fired at the victim's vehicle. Police recovered 7.45 caliber pistol slugs. Sugay said Libuano and his poll watchers were unhurt, but the village official's wife sustained a minor injury and was taken to the nearest hospital. Lozada, who escaped after the shooting, overwhelmingly lost to Libuano. More than 1,100 votes were cast and Libuano garnered more than 800, with Lozada only managing more than 180 votes. Libuano is reportedly set to file criminal charges against Lozada for attempting to murder him. A governor and 13 mayors from Luzon are being investigated for alleged vote-buying activities in connection with yesterday's Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Commission on Elections Chairman George Garcia said the poll body is investigating 1 governor and 13 mayors because the reported vote-buying incidents were conducted right inside their houses and premises. The Comelec chief stressed that local government officials should not interfere with the BSKE. We have reminded them to not interfere with the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections because, if they do, it would only create problems in the election, he said. Garcia said the Comelec, upon receiving reports of vote buying, immediately deployed election officers to investigate. Several of these reports turned out to be fake news. According to Commissioner Ernest Maceda, the Comelec received a total of 168 reports of vote buying, with 28 cases of that number filed prior to the elections. Masada said the 168 vote buying reports is much lower compared to the over 1,200 complaints received during the 20th of May 22 elections. As of yesterday, he said the Comelec was preparing the filing of vote buying charges against 46 BSKE candidates, adding that 94 complaints are still being evaluated and remain pending for resolution. A newly elected village councilman in Midsayap, Cotabato was shot dead by a cousin after a heated argument on Wednesday morning. Lieutenant Colonel John Miridal Kalinga, Midsayap Town Police Chief, identified the victim as Suharto Antilino, newly proclaimed Barangay Kagod of Poblacion 3. Citing the accounts of relatives and other witnesses, Kalinga said the unidentified gunman was the cousin of the 35-year-old Antilino. He said the shooting occurred about 9:30 am on Wednesday near the barangay hall. Witnesses revealed that there was an argument between Antilino and his cousin before the shooting, Kalinga said in a radio interview. Kalinga said relatives overheard his cousin as telling Antilino, "Don't be like that, my cousin," in the Maguindanao dialect. Some witnesses said Antilino ran but was chased by the gunman, who then opened fire, hitting him in the head. He was pronounced dead on arrival at a local hospital. Responding police found an empty shell for a .45 pistol at the crime scene. Kalinga said the shooting was not election related but more of a personal grudge involving the victim and the attacker. A barangay chairman and his two accomplices in the gun attack on Monday night in Limaton City, Basilan that left two elders of a rival who contested his re-election bid dead surrendered to authorities Wednesday. Abdullah Panglias, who lost in his re-election bid for the chairmanship of Barangay Balagtasan in Limaton City, and his followers, Abza Panglias and a volunteer community watchman named Jalbin Sunshal, are now clamped down in a police detention facility. Brigadier General Alan Nablazer, director of the police regional office Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, told reporters here on Wednesday that Panglias and his companions voluntarily surrendered to Brigadier General Alvin Luzon, commander of the Army's 101st Infantry Brigade and Limaton City's police chief, Lieutenant Colonel Arlenel Delampines. The three suspects first turned in assorted firearms and ammunition as they arrived at the headquarters of the 101st Infantry Brigade in Isabela City and, subsequently, confessed to their role in the ambush late Monday of Unangalahas and Sagan Jalan in Barangay Balagtasan while the duo was on their way home from a polling site in a nearby area. The slain Alahas and Jalan were both uncles of Arjun Jalan, a rival of the re-electionist Panglias in last Monday's Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. They were both defeated by a newcomer, a lowly tricycle driver, according to officials of the multi-sector Limaton City Peace and Order Council and officials of the local police. Nablazer said the three suspects yielded peacefully through the intercession of Luzon, Delampines. Local executives in Limaton City led by Mayor Roderick Furigay and Basilan Governor Jim Saliman and senior officials of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in the province. An armed forces officer with the rank of major was arrested for poking a gun to a bystander in a cemetery here on All Saints' Day. The Pangasinan Provincial Police Office identified the suspect as Major Leo Baggio Luzano, 39, a resident of this town. Investigation said the suspect sought the assistance of bystanders to enter the cemetery in Barangay Poblacion East. Luzano allegedly forced a bystander, Jerry Sagan Dalip, to board a vehicle. Dalip ignored the suspect who was drunk. The suspect drew and pointed his gun at Dalip's head, resulting in a commotion. Lawmen noticed the disturbance and nabbed Luzano, who yielded his service firearm, bullets and 4 magazines, and driver's license. He was taken into custody after he failed to present pertinent documents for his firearm and permits to carry from the Commission on Elections. Luzano faces charges for violating the election gun ban, disobedience to persons of authority. That's all for this week. I'll see you next week with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.